Oh my goodness, is it Friday already? I cannot believe it. Happy upcoming Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers of the world. Mom, I love you. Vicky, I know you're watching. Love you too. I'm so happy to be here. We got a slam jamming episode coming up. I'm Arthur Rawe, and I'm the MC ready to kick it. And across the table from me, I am joined by Mr. Radio Voice Batstone.
Happy Friday, America. Happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful moms out there. Be sure to hit that subscribe button here on the Discussion Combustion YouTube channel so you never miss any of the great content. Let's go, Art.
What we're going to bring this in with, of course, is Today in History, May 10th. So I had to bring this in. This is, Happy Friday, America, baby. So 1775, the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia names George Washington Supreme Commander. We all know he became the first president of the United States of America.
Indeed.
And obviously there was a huge gold spike that happened also in America. This was around 1869, and this is when the first Transcontinental Railroad was ever completed. And they completed it by connecting the Union Pacific and also the Central Pacific Railroad. And so that was a huge feat. That was today. Also, go figure, 1908, the first Mother's Day was observed, and this was observed in the great city of Philadelphia, was where the first Mother's Day was.
The city of brotherly love.
Brotherly love.
And motherly love.
Motherly love. Why is it brotherly love?
That's just the name of the city.
Is it? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And hey, look, with tying into one of the what we got coming up next, we had to talk about this. 2022, Tom Brady agrees to a record 10-year, $375 million deal with Fox Sports as the lead analyst, and that's whenever he decides to retire, of course. And what's crazy about that, it's going to surpass his $303 million that he got as the quarterback salary in his NFL career. So he's set up to make more money analyzing the sport whenever he decides to retire than he made doing the sport. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then he did. He hung it up at the end of that season. So, and then he wanted to take 23 off, and now we're in 24, and he's going to start with Fox this year, calling some football games, just like Troy Aikman and those guys did for a long time. So, congrats to Brady on that. And another thing about Tom Brady is the roast of Tom Brady.
That just happened. Yep.
It was fantastic. I'm a Patriots fan. I've been a Pats fan my whole life, so it was almost like a reunion for the team. Bill Belichick was there, Robert Kraft was there, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. It was so cool to see all the old teammates there. And then, of course, on the other side, you had Jeff Ross, the Grandmaster Roaster. You had Nikki Glazer. You had Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer there, bringing the heat, roasting the GOAT. It was a goat roast, and it was fantastic. It was old school comedy. It made me laugh so hard. Some people, the next day on the internet were a little bit, the woke world got upset by some of the things that were said. It was a roast. They're meant to be funny jokes, and they're getting on them. Nikki Glazer crushed. Hands down, I thought she was the best roaster of the night. She just came so clutch. Her delivery was great. But and I knew watching it, Art. I was like, people are going to be very upset about this. They're going to be offended
because they can be crude jokes
were
that are vulgar.
They were,
and that triggers some people. And that's the thing about comedy, though, is you should be able to take the darkest parts of humanity and this not always pretty world that we live in, and we should be able to make some jokes about it and like kind of talk about it and laugh about it. That's part of the fun.
That is part of the fun. And, Brady's up there getting smoked. A lot of Giselle jokes, a lot of deflated ball jokes, a lot of, spying on other people for Bill Belichick jokes. I thought it was great. It was funny. It reminded me of old comedy before people were offended by everything. The only person that wasn't there that should have been was Bill Burr as a Boston guy. Yeah, he should have been there. I didn't have a chance to watch it just yet. It's a Netflix exclusive.
Yeah, but definitely want to check that out. I saw some of the clips online.
Hilarious.
I thought Tom Brady's was good.
Yep.
The energy seemed right in that room. So for anybody to get mad at everybody having that much fun, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, don't even watch.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. But what does make sense to me is acting immediately. And that's what the hero of the week did, okay? So this is coming out of Wisconsin. An 8th grader actually jumped in and started steering a school bus as the driver went unconscious.
Wow.
The driver's okay as far as what I can tell here. But basically the kid was just hanging out. The bus took a normal turn that they normally take. And then all of a sudden he realized that the driver was not conscious. When he looked up, he could see that they weren't conscious. And the bus was starting to veer into the wrong direction. And so this was potentially a very bad scenario.
Yeah.
And Ossie Holland III, this hero, this young lad, jumped up, acted immediately on his instincts, moved the driver out of the seat, and then safely parked the bus on the side of the road. And he is being recognized by the mayor's office, the city council, the fire rescue, and the police department. They've all have recognized him. And I just wanted to highlight that.
That's great.
Some awesome acts in the world and moving quickly and acting immediately.
That's great because driving a school bus is pretty difficult. It's big, let alone learning how to drive a car at that age. Because technically at 14 you can't operate a motor vehicle.
Technically,
and you have to have a passenger endorsement on your license to drive really not even a bus. Any vehicle that carries more than 6 persons, you need a passenger endorsement for.
Okay.
So he didn't have either of those things, but he's still getting a nod from the police because hero of the week, baby.
He came in and he saved the day. So big props there. I love seeing that. And continuing this thing moving, we have an astronomical amount of avocados going on.
Yes, we have a abnormally awesome amount of avocados.
Yes.
The record has been broken. Everything's bigger in Texas, of course. There was a grocery store down in Dallas. There's a grocery store down there in old Dallas, Texas, one of my favorite cities in the country. Of course, it came in Tejas, right? Everything's bigger down there. So here was the deal. They had to break the previous record of 77,365 pounds of avocados.
Okay.
So
that's a lot.
We saw a picture of this thing before we jumped on the air. It's going to be down in the show notes. Take a look. It's massive. It takes up the entire produce department.
Yes.
Okay. It ends up weighing in at 86,764 pounds, which equated to about 260,292 avocados. That's a lot of guacamole. Holy guacamole, Art.
Holy guacamole. And this brings me back to the pigeon carrier thing that I talked about.
That was one of my favorite articles.
Because you're looking at 86,000 pounds here. That's at least, that's 2 truckloads. Fully packed semi 18-wheelers filled to the brim with avocados. And then that's over here. So my question with this is, what are they doing? They can't possibly sell all these avocados there.
No
so
way.
they redistributing them? Like, how did all that work? And that's what I don't know.
And that's probably what it was. They got the record, because like Kroger does, they have a bunch of semis going out with, you get 1,000 avocados, this store gets 1,000. They obviously decided we're going to send them all right here, and then we're going to keep the semis ready, and we're going to ship them off to the other produce departments in the surrounding area.
They used it as like a temporary warehouse.
Like a warehouse, yeah. They just brought them all in.
Like a warehouse spot.
Built a display. And then sent it. But that's a lot of avocados, Art.
That's a lot.
Because, when you buy avocados, if they're hard, you got to let them ripen.
Yeah.
There is no hard avocado eating. You know what I mean? So, Dallas, you're awesome. You hold the record.
Yeah, that's excellent. And talking about records and things of that nature, didn't we have a record-breaking submission on the Would You Rather for last week?
We had a lot of Would You Rather participants on the poll over at Twitter X. You get involved every Friday morning. We talk about it here on the show. Before we get to this week's Would You Rather, last week's Would You Rather was, would you rather be a bench warmer for a championship team or a star player for a team that always gets knocked out in the playoffs? 75% of America is taking the bench, baby.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I was seeing that. Hey, and it makes sense.
Yep, that's right.
It makes sense. So that one was kind of a layup, no-brainer. So this one's a little bit more difficult this week. So in this Would You Rather, I'm comparing movie genres, and you can only watch this movie genre for the rest of your life. Like, everything else is off the table for viewing. So you're only allowed to watch horror movies for the rest of your life, or you're only allowed to watch rom-coms for the rest of your life. Which are you going to pick?
Both of them are horrible movie categories, because horror movies used to be cool. Now they suck. They're cheesy. They're predictable. Rom-coms are also cheesy. They suck. They're predictable. But at least some of them are funny. I guess some horror movies can have some humor behind them. This is a tough one, though. I think horror movies are just not my jam.
Okay.
They just don't do it for me, but neither do rom-coms.
Yeah.
So really difficult. I'm taking the rom-com on this one.
Rom-com.
That way I can get a little comedy out of something. I can laugh at the betas.
Yeah. Rom-com it is. We're going unanimous on this
I thought you might take horror movie.
No, because here's the thing. If I'm watching horror movies all the time and that's all I'm able to watch, then I'm going to start thinking about all this ghostly stuff and like dreaming about this type of stuff. And then I'm going to welcome it into my life more. So I'm totally going to do the cheesy rom-coms and like just do that. I'm going rom-com all the way. America, what are you picking? Horror movies or rom-coms? Let us know. Let us know. Twitter, X,
Happy Friday USA, or down in the comments below. We're keeping it moving. All of my Mash the Gas people that are tuning in, I love you. I was out in Kansas City last weekend for a history-breaking race.
That's so cool.
Crazy stuff. A lot of talk, a lot of buzz this week about it. national news. Kyle Larson beats Chris Buescher by .001 of a second, the closest ever, Art. The next closest to that was .002. That was done in 2003 at Darlington, where we are this Sunday with Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch. This record has been beaten. It was a fan-fucking-tastic race. And people are asking me, Kev, what happens if they tie? What if it was triple zeros?
Yeah, what would happen?
So then it goes to whoever led the most laps out of the two that tied.
Okay.
Now, if they both led the same amount of laps, then it goes to who led the most in second place out of those laps.
There's a lot of stats in NASCAR.
There is.
People who don't watch NASCAR, like, you don't understand how many stats and, like, things there are to pay attention to in the sport. There's a lot.
Absolutely. And so scroll down, click that link, watch the last 2 laps of that race. I have the whole thing recorded on my phone, which was tremendous. It was awesome. I love Kansas Speedway. We'll see you on Match the Gas. More NASCAR talk later.
Yeah, I'll just quick blip on that. Like, I'm not the biggest NASCAR guy, but I have become over the years, and I will tell you, like, the last 10 laps of a race, like, there's just heightened electricity. Like, you could feel it happening. Like, the intensity grows.
I love it.
So definitely check it out. Next, what we're covering is Into the Wild and how animals are using natural remedies in nature. So, wild orangutan observed using medicine plant to treat wound. Now, this is a cool one because these guys have been out there since 1994 observing these orangutans in the Indonesian Gunung Leuser National Park. I think I said that right. So they've been watching them for a long time, but they've never witnessed this type of behavior. So the orangutan had a scratch on the left side of its face, and it was observed chewing up a plant out there that had medicinal qualities.
Like tea tree?
And then it rubbed it on there and chewed it up, and then actually put it on the wound like a bandage, right? And so it actually did this, and the wound completely healed within a couple weeks. And so there's all these animals that already do natural remedies, and nature is a beautiful thing between fungi and all the stuff going on out there. But other animals like chimpanzees, like the gorillas, like the bonos, all of these other animals have been observed eating leaves and stuff to get rid of parasites.
Right.
Like bitter leaves, like almost whole.
Sure.
So there's been some of this stuff observed before, but never full on finger to the wound and then putting the plant on the wound. So I just think that's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
And I guess my overall arching point about why this is kind of important, and everybody knows where I stand, but a natural medicine's a better route for medicine. And this just goes to show it, even nature knows.
I told you the story about my mom with the castor oil. It comes from the castor plant. It defeated what Big Pharma wouldn't from a plant. So this just backs that up even more in the animal kingdom. Mushrooms have great, purposes, as you mentioned, and I'll end this with a dad joke. Why did the mushroom get invited to the party?
I don't know.
Because he's a fun guy.
Oh, dude, I've heard that one before. How do I not remember that?
Great article. I love the natural medicine. And one thing I don't love, Art, is the renaming of the Boy Scouts of America.
I was a Boy Scout.
I was a Cub Scout.
Okay.
So I started as a young lad and in Scouts.
What's going on? They're changing the name?
They're rebranding, they're calling it.
Rebrand.
Which comes with a name change. So starting February 8th, 2025, they will be known as Scouting America.
Okay.
And so basically what this is supposed to do is increase more inclusivity with the rising gender ideology and things of that nature. This will include the Girl Scouts of America as well, as far as my research has conducted.
It will?
Yes.
So it's just going to be the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts
of
are
America, Scouting America.
Scouting America.
My question is, well, what happens to the Girl Scout cookies? Does it become Scouting America cookies?
And then our old Boy Scouts, is the Boy Scout groups, or the old Boy Scout groups going to be selling Girl Scout cookies?
I really don't know the details on that. It's really just broke this week, and I think they're still kind of ironing out the details of this. But the idea is that the reason behind it, according to their lead PR representative, said it's due to inclusivity. They want to include more of the genders and the things of that nature rather than isolating the boys and the girls. I'm old school. I was a Cub Scout, like I said. I've always liked the Girl Scouts out there selling cookies and getting their hustle on. And kind of, I'm not saying keeping everything separate, but, there's men's football, there's women's, basketball. There's still, things that are, and that's a touchy topic in this country at this point in time, with gender roles and stuff. But, I don't really like it. I like the sound. I think it would be better if they did the American Scouts. That rolls off the tongue a little bit better.
The American Scouts does sound better.
And Scouting America.
Yeah, because it sounds like a talent show program.
It does.
It sounds like America's Next Top Scout. It sounds like a
American Scouts.
It sounds like a TV show or something. I mean, look, I ultimately think that everybody has a place, and it's okay to have unique ways of thinking. And I just don't understand why we have to change everything. Because the thing is like, if you are offended by genderized naming of things or pronouns or however it all goes, then like a whole language of like Spanish is like off the table. You know,
Right.
like everything is genderized there, and like honestly, there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think if people want to choose a different like whatever, but like let's just own it, because my life was in shambles until I hashtagged owned it.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do, is own it.
Yeah.
So that's a whole conversation, obviously, but definitely something worth bringing up. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So I figured I'd put that in this week's Happy Friday. It's kind of some big news here in America, of course. And we're moving it on to the weekend. We're ripping through this Happy Friday, folks. We're
Already
gonna get
here to the weekend, baby. Let's go.
We're getting you on your weekend a little quicker this week. There's some fun things going on. The biggest Texas music festival is going on down in Conroy, Texas. That is tonight and tomorrow. There's some fantastic Midlands there. Some of my favorite country music bands. Awesome. We got some music out in Vegas too, Art. Who's playing?
Rock and roll classic, baby. The Rolling Stones, Las Vegas, on Saturday. That's tomorrow, folks. And look, they got a whole magazine named after them for a reason. To see them live is probably a life achievement.
Keith Richards, keep on rocking, man. Love the Rolling Stones. All you moms out there, like we said in the opening, happy Mother's Day. It's just a great day, you know, celebrating moms. We got Father's Day next month. I think it's nice. It's a reason to reach out to your mom or make her something or whatever.
Yeah, and just like how I feel about Valentine's Day, though, we shouldn't be waiting until Mother's Day to celebrate our mothers. Okay,
that is correct.
Where's the race happening this week, Cal?
We are
this
down
weekend?
in Darlington, South Carolina. It's throwback weekend. We're going to be in old school clothes from the 70s. All the paint schemes are going to be old school from the 70s and 80s and 90s.
Okay, that's
I love
fun.
throwback weekend, Goodyear
That's
400. Tune into Match the Gas Monday night to check all that out. We're out of here, guys. We're ripping through this Happy Friday. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, at Happy Friday USA, Twitter X, where you can take the poll and get involved with the promo clips every Friday, Twitter X, at Happy Friday USA. And if you're old school and want to send an email, that's happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. I got places to be. You got places to be, America. Enjoy your weekend.